ink is black, the paper's white, beneath the pale desk lamplight. Each number tells a silent tale of every single crooked sale. The city's breath is in these lines, the most intricate of designs. A bribe to a forgotten judge, a carefully constructed grudge, a union border rival pay, a slow and deliberate crusade. This is my art, my symphony, a perfect cold economy of violence, fear, and whispered threats, the safest of our losing bets. I am the ghost inside the gears, who calms the markets, quells the fears. Leo brings the chaos and the storm. I keep the ledger safe and warm. He is the thunder, I'm the rain that washes all the bloody stain. A perfectly balanced ledger, clean and neat. The bitter truth is always sweet when written in a steady hand. The only thing I understand, a perfectly balanced ledger, line by line. This awful, brutal world is mine. To calculate, to subsidize behind my cold and weary eyes. The numbers are the only things that do not lie. He brings me bags of dirty cash from some unforgiving, foolish clash. His knuckles bruised, his suit is torn, the look of a man who's newly born into a rage he can't control. It takes a deep and lasting toll. I take the money, clean a mess, I find a way to make it last. Suspicious, volatile, and crude, a different kind of attitude. I turn his bloody street one prize into a legitimate enterprise. He is a butcher, skilled and fast, I'm the one who makes a product last. He doesn't see the work it takes, the thousand small and clever breaks of law and trust and promises, the different kinds of emptiness. A perfectly balanced ledger, clean and neat. The bitter truth is always sweet when written in a steady hand. The only thing I understand, a perfectly balanced ledger, line by line. This awful, brutal world is mine. To calculate, to subsidize behind my cold and weary eyes. The numbers are the only things that do not lie. But lately in the margins where there should be nothing but cold air, I see a number I can't place, a ghost of red, a fading trace, a cost that isn't on the page, a turning of a darker age, the price of Leo's growing rage, and it is not accounted for. The ledger's balanced, the books are true, but something's coming, something new, and it's not in the math. to live to fight another day. A handshake and a knowing glance, a carefully constructed dance. But Leo's tired of the game. He wants to hear them scream his name. He says my methods are too slow, the way the quiet cancers grow. He wants the fire, wants the flood, the righteous currency of blood. He calls me weak, he calls me scared, the only man who's ever dared to question his own brutal creed, the planting of a poison seed. He says that fear is not enough, the world needs something rough. I build a king, I build a throne, on careful words and patient bone. He wants to tear it all right down, the most respected clown in town. And the lion roar is getting loud, for the benefit of the thirsty crowd. He's breaking bodies, breaking rules, with all his antiquated tools. The lion roars, a stupid sound, on this new and unforgiving ground. He doesn't see the web I've spun, of all the silent wars I won. He only sees the fight in front of him. He killed a man in broad daylight, just to prove that he was right. A union man who talked too much, who had a soft and gentle touch. It wasn't business, wasn't need, just Leo's own and violent creed. He sent a message stark and clear that there's no room for scholars here. And now the cops are at the door, they want so much and so much more. The politicians that I bought, the careful lessons that I taught, are turning into smoke and dust because of one man's angry lust for the respect that's paid in fear. And the lion roar is getting loud, for the benefit of the thirsty crowd. He's breaking bodies, breaking rules, with all his antiquated tools. The lion roars, a stupid sound, on this new and unforgiving ground. He doesn't see the web I've spun, of all the silent wars I won. He only sees the fight in front of him, the animal I chose to crown is burning his own kingdom down. And he's dragging me right down with him, upon a dark and brutal whim. He thinks this roar will save the day, but all I hear is the decay of everything I built and made. A long and carefully played charade. The lion roars, the architect weeps, while the city never sleeps. It just waits. The room is thick with smoke and dust. The only thing we talk about is Leo's latest bloody mess. This game of high stakes violent chess. Our oldest partners, men of grace, can't even look me in the face. They see the writing on the wall, the prelude to a final fall. The empire that I built on trust, corroding into angry rust. I try to reason, try to plead with Leo's own and broken creed. I show him ledgers, show the cards of everything we've almost lost. He just stares back with empty eyes that don't believe my coward's lies. He sees a traitor at his back, the start of a brand new attack. He doesn't see a loyal friend, just the beginning of the end. This is He says he's heard the whispers now. He wants to know just when and how. I made my deals behind his back to get our partnership on track. He sees my logic as a sin, a place the weakness can't get in. He trusts the fist, I trust the brain. A cold and unforgiving rain. Starting now between us two, the only thing we can undo. The bond we had, the oath we swore is lying shattered on the floor. He thinks I wanna take his throne on. I'm just trying not to be alone in the wreckage of our own damn home. This is the first crack in the glass, a moment that will come to pass. A line is drawn, a trust is broken, the final bitter word is spoken. First crack in the glass, so fine and deep, a promise that we cannot keep. The perfect pain is scarred with doubt, and now the storm is getting out, and there's no way to put it back. I look at the man I helped create, a monster born of pride and hate. And in his eyes I see the truth, the bitter anger of his youth has not been tamed. It's just been dressed in a fine suit and all the rest. The animal is still in there, and he is breathing my own air, and he thinks that is his to take. The cracks spread. The glass is weak, the storm is waiting for the meek to inherit nothing at all. The walls goes man, a king upon a shaky throne. He checks the locks, he tests the fool, a dark and ever-changing mood. He sees a traitor in a glass, a dangerous and deadly dance. The man who served them tried and true are now the suspects old and new. I watch him from a distance, share the architect of his despair. I didn't plant these seeds of doubt, he grew them till they blossomed out. His own dark mind, a fertile ground for every single whispered sound. A city silent, holding still upon his own unbroken will. And 1, 2, 3, in the smoke, in the haze, his paranoid walls for these last days. 1, 2, 3, he turns and he sways with all the ghosts of his own yesterdays. Lazing with a phantom night, the greatest terror of his life. Paranoia's walls are spinning for the king who's getting scared of all his own damn men. He calls me in at 3 a.m. to speak of them and them and them. The union boss, the cop on pay, who looked at him a funny way. He draws a chart of who trusts who, a thing a madman's prone to do. My name is in the center square, the only one he can't quite bear to circle in. His angry red, he'd rather just be fucking dead than to admit the awful fist, the architect of his own youth. And power is the one he fears through all his sweat and all his tears. And power is the one he kiss in a deep and dark abyss. He's dug himself with his own hand, the loneliest of all the lands. The waltz goes on, the music's mad, the best damn friend he's ever had is now the enemy, or so he thinks. Upon a rooftop high, beneath a cold and bruised up sky, the city that I helped to build, the promises I've half fulfilled, is burning on a funeral pyre of one man's paranoid desire. I was a kingmaker, the priest who unleashed a dark and hungry beast. I thought that I could hold the reins and shelter from the coming rain. I thought that logic was the crown in this forgotten, brutal town. But logic is a fragile thing when faced with what the mad kings bring. I gave a crown to a damn fool. I broke my one and only rule. I played with fire, played with rage, and built a truly perfect cage. I thought it was for him, you see, but the cage was always meant for me. This is the kingmaker's holiday, life's work, where all the darkest monsters lurk. This is the price for my own pride, with nowhere left for me to hide. The kingmaker's folly, my grand plan, the unmaking of a thinking man. I made the king, now I must pay and help him take it all away. My loyalty is my own doom. He calls a meeting with our foes, the way the coldest winter snows before it kills the final bloom. He's chosen his own time of doom. He wants a war, a final stand, to cleanse this unforgiving land. He's throwing everything away to live and die in just one day. And he expects me at his side with my last shred of foolish pride, the architect of his own fall, to answer to his final call, to use my brain to help him win a war he never should begin. This is the kingmaker's folly, my life's work, where all the darkest monsters lurk. This is the price for my own pride, with nowhere left for me to hide. The kingmaker's folly, my grand plan, the unmaking of a thinking man. I made the king, now I must pay and help him take it all spoils of a better man. To stay is part of his own plan. To die in glory, fire and smoke, the final bitter whisper joke. My only choices are to flee or die for the man who's killing me. What kind of choice is that at all? The folly's deep. The choice is made. The final awful price is paid in loyalty. In loyalty.
Before the dawn, before the war, I knock upon the rival's door. The last one left, who's smart and old, whose loyalty was never sold. He greets me not with gun or blade, but with a sad and worn charade of pleasantries and bitter tea. He knows just why I've come to see him in the dark before the light. In the dark before the light, on this long and unforgiving night, I am a scar, he's the same. We're tired of this bloody game. He's gonna burn it all. I say he wants to die the way. He just looks at me inside with old and understanding eyes. And you, my boy, what do you want? This ghost that you forever haunt. This is a last honest deal, the only that leaves for the real. Not for the money or the town, but just to stop the burning down. The last honest deal, a quiet word, the strangest story ever heard. Two enemies who will unite to try and do the thing that's right for a city that they both have pledged. I offer him my books, my plans, the minds behind my own two hands, the roots, the cops, the union halls, the way the entire system falls. I offer him the kingdom's key. I get down on my goddamn knees, not for my life, but for the soul of something that was once made whole. Let me help you take them down, I'll plead, and plant a new and better seed. I don't want power, don't want to share, just get me out of this despair. I will betray my king, my friend, to bring his madness to an end. This is the last honest deal, the only thing that's truly real. Not for the money or the town, but just to stop the burning down. The last honest deal, a quiet word, the strangest story ever heard. Two enemies The city's better off if you're both dead. But I am old and I am tired of all the stupid things desired by boys who think that they are king. The broken and the bitter thing. I'll take your deal, I'll use your mind, but pray to God you never find your way back to my door again. The deal is made. The sun will rise on a city full of my own lies and one less truth.
I sit across the table from my king, the final awful bitter thing. I lie to him about the plan, the making of a broken man. I feed in details, small and true, to see this awful business through. I am the weapon and the shield on this bloody final battlefield. They trust my mind, they trust my word, the most pathetic thing you've heard. He's walking to the gallows pole with me in charge of his own soul. I've never held a gun or knife, but I'm taking my friend's life. Is this betrayal? To wipe him from this time and place, to save the city from his rage, to turn the final bloody page. I am the architect of ruin, the undoing of my own doing. I build the trap with my own head for the only man I understand. The architect of ruin, with a tear for the man that I felt so dear. I planned his rise, I planned his fall. The greatest sin of all is to kill a man with your own mind. The final meetings at the docks, against the ticking of the clocks. A perfect trap, a pensive move, with nothing left for him to prove. He'll walk in thinking he's the bait to seal his rival's bloody fate. He'll be the hammer, not the nail. He thinks that he can never fail, as long as I am by his side, with my own logic as his guide. He doesn't know my logic's turn, for all the lessons that I've learned. The greatest good, the lesser pain, a cold and calculating rain. I am the architect of ruin, the undoing of my own doing. I build the trap with my own hand
claps my shoulder, calls me friend. Here at the bitter, awful end, he says we'll show them, you and I, a beautiful and noble way to die. He doesn't want to live, you see. He just wants to take the world with he. And I'm the one who has to stop the final awful bloody drop. The trap is set, the pawns are moved. A terrible and awful love is about to end. Trap is sprung, steel door slam, a perfectly constructed sham. Leo's in there all alone upon his cold and concrete throne. The docks are silent, not a soul. He's lost his precious self-control. You scream my name into the night, beneath the pale and sickly light of the bare bulbs that line the walls. He knows his name, this folly call. He sees the guns, he sees a man who won't be fooled by him again. He is a lion, proud and strong, where everything has gone so wrong. He doesn't beg, he doesn't plead. He's just the last of a dead breed. He looks for me, the final awful truth now lies. He's just a lion in a cage, filled with helpless, hopeless rage. The king of nothing but a room, his self-appointed final tomb. A lion in a cage who roars in vain against the cold and coming rain. He was the animal, and I the plan, the downfall of a goddamn broken man. The rival boss walks in so slow, the master of this final show. He looks at Leo, shakes his head at all the bitter words unsaid. He sold you out, the old man says it. The games of thinking man's head plays. He gave us everything we need, the harvest of a bitter seed. And Leo looks right past the gun. His final battle isn't won or lost with him, it's lost with me. The final awful clarity, the bullet that will take his life is not as sharp as the damn knife of my betrayal, cold and deep. Just a lion in a cage, filled with helpless, hopeless rage. The king of nothing but a room, his self-appointed final tomb. A lion in a cage who roars in vain against the cold and coming rain. He was the animal, watch it from a rooftop far. Through the window of a stolen car, I see the flash, I know he's gone before the first pale light of dawn. I made him king, I set him free. I killed the only part of me that was ever truly, fully alive. Just to survive, just to survive, just to survive. The lion's quiet, the cage is still, upon a dark and lonely hill. Of my own making.
The deal was kept, the city safe. The path to a new future paved. The new boss rules with a calm hand. He understands his weary land. There is a piece of quiet grace upon the scarred and broken place. I got the thing I wanted more, to exercise my own damn goal. My payment is a train ticket, a fast and unforgiving exit, a new name and a bag of cash, a future born from ash and ash. I am the secret that they'll keep while the entire guilty city sleeps. The architect who disappeared, the one that's both revived and feared. I am a hero, I'm a saint, a sinner with a coat of pain. I am the man who saved the day, and now I have to run away. This is the consigliere's exile, for walking that last bloody mile. You win the war, you lose the right to ever stand in your own light. The consigliere's exile, my reward, the most reviled and yet adored of all the ghosts that on this town I helped to burn it fucking down. And now I can't stay for the rebuild. I stand and watch the city fade, a bitter, beautiful parade of lights and sounds and memories, the skeletons of what used to be. The boy I was, the man I knew before this bloody business was through. I see his face in every pain, the lion standing in the rain. He was my brother, he's my sin, the place the cold will now get in. I save the body, let the soul just burn out in a black empty hole. I did the right thing, I believe, but I will never cease to grieve. This is the consigliere's exile, for walking that last bloody mile. You win the war, you lose the right to ever stand in your own light. The consigliere's exile, my reward, the most reviled and yet adored of all the ghosts that on this town I helped to burn it fucking down. Yeah. And now I can't stay for the rebuild. Was it worth it? I don't know. To stop the seas of hate to grow. I had to plant a different kind inside my own and broken mind. The kind of weed that never died, the cold reflection in my eyes. I saved more from him, it's true, but who will save me now from you? Whistle cries, the endlessness of empty skies, the exile's just begun. Train smoke fades, the city's gone. I'm facing a much colder dawn, in some forgotten, nameless town, where all the pain is peeling down. The neon sign outside just hums, as understanding slowly comes. This is my kingdom now, you see. This cheap and star reality. Check the mirror on the wall and have expected to see him fall right out of it with that damn grin. Ask me where the hell I've been, but all I see is the strangest face, a man without a time or place, with tired eyes and a new name, just fading embers of a flame. I am a ghost of a different kind. The man that I have left behind is more alive than I am now, a broken and a silent vow. A new name in a cheap hotel, the story that I'll never tell, a ledger with a single line that says this life is truly mine. A new name in a cheap hotel, I built a cage and then walked free, but the cage was always a part of me, and it has followed me right here. I read the papers, see the news, the same old self-inflicted bruise. They praise the peace, the brand new day, the criminal element swept away. They write about the old boss gone, the lion who could not live on. They never mention my own name, the architect of all the flame. I am a footnote erased and clean, the most important ghost unseen. I should feel pride, I should feel peace, a merciful and sweet release, but all I feel is a hollow weight. For one last terrible mistake, I missed the wall, I missed the game. A new name in a cheap hotel, the story that I'll never tell, a ledger with a single line that says this life is truly mine. A new name in a cheap hotel, the fast and final prison cell. I built a cage and then walked free, but the cage was always a part of me, and it
has followed me right here. I close my eyes and I can see the man that I was meant to be. A quiet man with books and thought, the very man for whom I fought. I killed the king to set him free, and now that quiet man is me, and he is the loneliest man on earth. For what it's worth, for what it's worth, for what it's worth. A new name, an old ghost, the one that I will miss the most is a monster. Is a monster.
The days are long, the work is hard. I deal a new and honest card. A simple job, simple life. A world without the gun and knife. I keep my head down, pay my rent. My angry energy is spent. I'm stacking boxes, sweeping floors. Behind the warehouse's closed doors, and in the quiet, in the still, upon the long and lonely hill. My new life, I feel pain, a ghostly and a phantom rain. It's where he used to be, you see, the brutal better half of me. They say a soldier feels his leg long after they have saw the peg. A ghost of what was once a limb. My ghost is him, it's always him. This is a phantom limb. The ache and strain, the body's memory of the pain. The part of you that's dead and gone, that still keeps trying to hold on. A phantom limb that won't forget the single most profound regret. I cut him off to save my soul, but I will never be made whole, because the ghost of him is a part of me. I see his face, a stranger's eyes, in all their quick and sharp replies. I hear his laugh in a crowded room, a sudden and a welcome doom. I reach for my own whiskey glass and wait for the damn ghost to pass. He was a rage, I was a thought, the perfect lesson we were taught is that you can't have just one. The scholar and the angry son are tied together back to back. There's no way to get off the track. I chose the mind, I killed the fit. A part of my own soul is missed. This is the phantom limb, the ache and strain. The body is made. part of you that's dead and gone, that still keeps trying to hold on. The phantom limb that won't forget the single most profound regret. I cut him off to save my soul, but I will never be made whole, because the ghost of him is a part of me. I did what's right. I sleep a little better every night. The city's safe, the war is done. A quiet victory was won. But every time I make a choice, I hear his condescending voice. You think that this is living art? You just chose a slower way to fall apart. The phantom limb, the scholar's curse, for better or for so much worse. It's always there. It's always there.
The ink is cheap, the paper's thin, the play's a new sin. Must begin. I write a letter to a ghost, the one that I betray the most. Don't know who I'm writing to. Boy, I knew the man who grew into a monster full of rage. I'm trying to turn back the page. I write dear Leo, and I stop a single solitary drop of ink is bleeding on the line, a flawed and a pathetic sign. What can I say? What can I write? In the lonely hours of the night, I'm sorry is a coward's word, the most useless you've ever heard. The truth is sharper than a knife. I stole your death to save my life. This is a letter never sent, for all the time that I have spent rewriting every single line of your last chapter and of mine. A letter never sent, a silent plea for the man that you will never be. I folded up and let it lie beneath the cold and empty sky, a confession that will not be read. I write about the early days, the stupid and the hopeful haze, the dreams we had, the plans we made before the first real hand was played. I write about the good I see in the monster that you grew to be, the loyalty to fight, the pride, the things you couldn't bear to hide. I was the winner, you the flame. We weren't so different in this game. I write that I betrayed you first with my own educated thirst to tame you, shape you, make you mine. The first and most egregious sign
don't know what I'm fighting for. I tell him that the quiet life is just a slow and patient knife. I tell him that he might have won when all is said and all is done. The man who feels nothing at all is the one who has the furthest to fall. But I feel everything. I burn the letter. Watch the ash. A final unforgiving flash. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. The years go by, the seasons turn. The final lesson that I learned. I'm old now, and my hair is gray. I've lived to see another day. I read a story in the news, the kind of thing you can't refuse, about a city clean and bright that finally saw the goddamn light. They write about the legends past, the shadows that were built to last. They speak of Leo, the lion gallows, and words both glorified and shallow. A brutal king, a tragic flaw, who lived and died outside the law. And then a footnote at the end about a mysterious friend, an advisor who just disappeared, the one that nobody had feared. I'm at the Kingmaker's grave, a simple stone, a life that I have lived alone. No one is here to mourn or weep for all the secrets that I keep. The Kingmaker's grave, a quiet place with no dishonor, no disgrace. I was the goal, I was the plan, the most forgotten lucky man. I gotta watch the garden grow. They write my name as Arthur Kane, a simple fiction in the rain. They say I fled, they say I died. They never knew how hard I tried to be the man I thought was right. In the darkness of that endless night, I stand here now, a ghost for real. The only thing I truly feel is a strange peace, a quiet hum for all the things I have become. I was the architect, it's true, who saw this bloody business through. And my reward was not the throne, but to be perfectly and truly unknown. I'm at the Kingmaker's grave, a simple stone, a life that I have lived alone. No one is here to mourn or weep for all the secrets that I keep. The Kingmaker's grave, a quiet place with no dishonor, no disgrace. I was the ghost, I was the plan, the most forgotten lucky man. I gotta watch the garden grow. You got the glory and the fame, a bloody and a whispered name. I got the silence and the end to wash away the blood and tears. Who won the war? Who paid the cost? Who was doesn't matter anymore. I'm knocking on a different door. The grave is quiet, the sky is gray. The kingmaker has had his day. It's over now. The ink is black, the paper is white, beneath a pale and fading light of a long life, a final breath, the last negotiation with death. I sit there with my final book and take a long and final look, a legend not of gain or loss, of every single bridge I've crossed. I call them here for all the pain, the cold and unforgiving rain. I call them there for the one friend I'll stay beside until the end. In my own heart, in my own mind, the only thing I leave behind. The numbers blur, lines all fade. For every single choice I've made, there is a cost, there is a gain, a perfect balance of the pain, a perfect record. A private is lecture. In the end, the enemy and the trusted friend, the architect, the animal, a final unforgiving fable, a perfectly balanced ledger. The last entry reads a harvest of two different seeds. One was for power, one for grace. In this cold and unforgiving place, I think they both found their own peace, a final and a sweet relief. The ledger's balanced, the book is closed. The story that was decomposed is whole again. The pen is down, the final whisper in the town is Artie and the lion. Together